Hello everyone, welcome here. I don't think this is going to be the best camera, but we'll see here in a second. My face is probably going to be in the way. Oh, I did remember my mods. Okay, that's cool. I don't remember what this one is. That one's nice, that one's nice. I don't remember what this one is at all. Steam, what is this mod? Oh, that's the one that makes chests just or items just evaporate if they go into a chest that's already full. Okay, that was a good mod too. Alright, anyway. Today we're going to play some Stacklands. We're going to do new run. We're going to do new run, of course. We're going to do normal moon length, peaceful mode off. Wait a second. Don't I get an option to start the DLC? One second here. I do have the genius and the time machine. I thought that I could start a new run directly on Modern Times DLC. One second while I check something. It might be not recognizing that I completed the game properly, or I might just be wrong about this. Okay. This is bullshit. Go away, AI. You suck. I don't want videos. They're freaking useless. Maybe you can't. Alright, anyway. Let's turn that up a little bit. It's too low. Oh, I can have different saves. Alright, well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it does recognize that I did it. Apparently you just can't start a new modern run. Interesting. You can enable the curses, but you can't start straight in the modern time. Okay. Where do I have... There we go. Okay, we don't care about any of these curses. Bullshit. Alright, so our main objective is just develop a food surplus. Roger that. Also, I need to move the camera. What would be... That's better for sure. Yeah, we'll use this one. Okay. Let's produce some rocks. Let's go ahead and make a stick. Then we can sell the stick, and that should get us another pack. Okay. These are worth a lot of money right here. Actually, let's leave the berry bush alone, because that's future food. We do need to keep our card cap in mind. Hell yeah, a stick. Okay. Yeah, we need 25 extra food, according to a source I have found. So that shouldn't be too hard. Got more sticks. That'll get us 2 more Humble Beginnings packs. Okay, is it 3 stone and a wood to make a stone mine? Yes, quarry, there we go. Alright, so we got plenty of berry bushes available. Plenty of berry bushes available. Not enough to get the food surplus we need to go straight to the Industrial Revolution, but that's fine. Quarry for future income. I would like to get a infinite wood source next. So I don't want to sell that if I don't have to, but also selling food is not a great idea either. We do have a lot of berry bushes right now, though. So I think we'll just process berry bushes, and then we'll sell some and hope we get 1 more piece of wood and a piece of stone, and that'll get us infinite wood, which is very nice to have this early. Soil, which means we now have infinite food easily. And we have a rabbit, so let's place him down in the corner and forget he exists. The tree will definitely give us another wood. That'll be enough wood to produce the, whatever the hell it's called again. And maybe we'll get a stick out of it. If we don't get a stick, then we'll get another piece of wood that we can turn into a stick. And we can sell that together with a berry. And that'll hopefully get us a stone. I should kill the rabbit, actually, and see if we can get a rabbit hat out of it, but rabbit shit is kind of useful, so we'll keep them around. Can use it to grow more food. Oh, survey. There's the stone we need. Okay. A shed is a wood, a stone, a stick, I believe. We might as well start building card capacity because we will need some. Okay, let's go ahead and process the tree. It's faster to process than the lumber camp. There's another berry bush. Speaking of things we need to process soon, we need to process more berry bush so we can actually eat. So he's done with the tree, he goes straight on that. Then we'll turn these woods into sticks, and that should get us more humble beginnings. We'll probably never buy anything beyond humble beginnings. Unless we buy a bunch of reap and sow or something, but that seems unlikely. Or even curious cuisine. I guess more food that's worth getting. But right now we're just trying to stack up food. We don't care about anything else. Okay, you work the quarry because I need another stone. And then we can use that to make our first shed. Because we will need more card cap. We need a surplus of 25 food to get into modern times. Which technically we could fit more than 25. Probably. Oh, I need to keep more berries planted. We don't need to, but I should. Alrighty. There's our first shed. That gets us 24 cards instead of 20. Which I will happily take. Another rabbit out of a berry bush. We should probably murder some of those rabbits because I think I'm missing a quest step for have a villager wear a rabbit hat. But for now, more rabbits means more shit means more plantables. Speaking of which, let's get that soil going. I kind of need a second villager, but I'm not in a hurry for that. Anyway, let's produce a little more wood. I'd kind of like to get a second shed. If need be, I will berry farm to victory. No, we'll let him finish the lumber camp. And then move him over to quarry. Make 2 stone? At least 1 stone. One of these needs to become a stick, and we can just make another shed. Okay. Lovely. Now then. Got food for the day, of course. As soon as the shed's done, we have to get back to processing food. Yeah, make a villager wear a rabbit hat, break a bottle, make a villager wear crab scale armor, craft amulet of the forest. Most of those I'm not going to worry about, but I can knock this one out pretty easily on this run. Okay. Let's keep the berry bushes coming in. And then we need to get back to making more shed. Because right now it is somewhat important that we have enough card storage that we can just build up a giant food surplus and call it good. That's all we're trying to do, is build up a food surplus. Okay. Next time he finishes off a berry bush, which he should right now, putting him on the lumber camp. Then as soon as he's done with that, we make a stick. So he's done with the stick, he goes on the quarry. Then we make another shed, and that should get us to 32 card cap, which is pretty solid. And should be plenty. Okay. We do need to produce another berry before the end of the day. Well, we don't need to. He can technically grab one of the growing ones and eat it. But obviously that would be bad. As in, not a great idea. We almost have enough or food surplus. Okay, yeah, we should be able to pick 2 berries, no problem, before the end of the day. Anyway, we almost have enough card cap. Or berry bushes, I mean. Just to straight up produce enough food. We definitely need more card cap, though. For now, let's just process a bunch of these berry bushes. And then, do I want to build another shed? I probably should build at least one. It would be better if we could get an apple and start growing those instead of berries. by a lot, actually. Tempted to sell 3 berries, but that's relatively inefficient. Instead, let's produce 2 more berries to get rid of one of these cards, and then we'll start making another shed. Okay, 1 more berry. Okay. Got plenty of card cap for the moment. We're not squeezing up against it, but more is obviously better. Okay, got a stone. I'm gonna start saving up rabbit shit. Don't care about the traveling cart. You can go over there for now. Anyway, I'm gonna start saving up stuff so we can use it for apples once I get them. Because we've got plenty of food for now. I'm just gonna focus on getting more apples. Or getting any amount of apples. Which we can get them relatively commonly from a tree. We have a fairly common chance of a reap and sow pack, but those are 10 instead of... I'm going to keep the sow going because there's no cost to that. Okay, well, let's start making sticks to sell. We actually have enough berry bushes that if we just processed them all, I think we'd have enough food, but we would be way over card cap. And we don't have enough villager labor to really work that around. I definitely overproduced berry bushes. I shouldn't have. Tree? No. Let's get another shed. I mean, if it's just going to keep giving us tons of berry bushes, maybe I guess we will process them all. That might just be the fastest way at this point. Because 10, that's probably about 30 berries. Assuming we don't get any rabbits out of the deal. We supposedly need 25 extra food. Okay, as soon as the shed's done, we need to start processing berries full time. Because we don't have enough food right now. But we will have plenty of time before the end of the day to produce enough. As long as we don't dawdle. Alright. I don't remember if there's a type of villager that gathers faster. I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so. Like the spiked plank makes a builder. Builders build buildings faster. I'm pretty sure they don't gather food faster. I don't think an explorer gathers food faster from... Okay, don't care about the traveling cart. Yeah, let's just try to build up a food surplus. The most direct way possible. There's not a go faster button, unfortunately. And I am going to go ahead and sell rabbit crap, which we can use to buy packs. Ooh, the second villager. Okay, there we go. That'll make things go faster. Key. Don't care about the key. We're not using it. Another rabbit. Should start murdering them. We're halfway to the food surplus we need. More berry bushes. Stone to sell. Rock to process into stone to sell. Okay, stop processing that right now. You work in the lumber camp. We already have too many cards. You go murder a rabbit. Sell the raw meat. Okay. Strange portal. Don't care. Well, I do care. Let's make some spears. Or a spear and a slingshot. Or a spear or a slingshot. Goblin archer. Okay. I don't remember. I think melee is good against archer. Or is it magic good against archer? Regardless, we're not getting magic out in time. Here, can you kill a rabbit for me? No? Yeah, sadly, he is very effective against us, so... let's just do that. We need to be out of here before this actually becomes a problem. Which means... that I... need to make some more sheds. Okay, goblin hat is just strictly better than anything, so let's give it to the militia. You get to work on the lumber camp. Process more stuff. There's another berry bush. Let's keep planting berry bushes for now. Curious cuisine is probably our best bet for getting more food quickly. Another berry bush. Raw meat we're going to sell. Milk we'll add to the pile, add to a food pile somewhere. Actually, milk, does it combine with berries or does it combine with... combines with berries, okay. That's 2 + 1 foods. I don't know if they become a +3 or... I don't remember. Okay. They become a +2 that's worth 5 coins. That's what they do. So not terribly worth. Ooh, there's a rabbit hat. Make a villager wear a rabbit hat. Max health -5. Okay. I'm gonna sell that. Because I don't actually give a shit about the rabbit hat. And you get back to processing those. We have all the wood we need for sure. Let's get to making 2 more sheds. That should be plenty to get up enough berries. Hopefully. If I had flint, I'd make a stick with a nail in it. Whatever the hell it's called. Spiked plank. There we go. It's another rabbit. We'll murder those in a bit, maybe. Gonna sell that wood. That'll get me enough to get another Curious Cuisine pack. Raw meat. Mushroom is 1 food. Sure, why not? Plant that berry. You make another shed. The tree has a 13% chance of producing an apple. ×2. Which means eventually we'd probably get one out of enough trees. As soon as this guy's done building the shed, we'll put him on the tree. If you get an apple, that'll help. Because we'll immediately plant that. If we don't get an apple, then we'll see. Once this guy's done with the tree, we'll put him on berry bush duty. And then we'll have the militia go kill the rabbits, because I don't really care about them anymore. And we're going to get more rabbits as time goes by. It's got 8 more card capacity. Which should actually be enough to get us to the required 25 food. I think. Yeah. We're at 22 right now. And we can sell a few other cards if we have to. There we go, 25 extra. Let's see if it was telling us the truth about the Industrial Revolution. Okay, you go murder rabbits. You stop processing berry bushes for a bit. Yeah, we got a carrot. Okay. Let's make sticks out of this wood for sale. Bone. Oh wait, we need 25 food surplus. I think that's why. Oh, there we go. Your food source is very stable. You've discovered the Industrial Revolution. Place a villager on top of this card to start the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. On to what I actually want to do, which is Stacklands 2000. Leave the mainland, you can always come back. Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to come back. Okay, we got a worker who needs a house. We got a second worker who also needs a house. A gravel deposit, a lumber deposit, some trash, a rain card, and 20 bucks. Okay. Now. Apartment. Shack. 1 cement, 1 lumber, 1 worker. Cement is made with gravel and water. Rain is 3 water. Okay. So you start processing rain, you start processing gravel. That'll get us the cement we need. To build at least 1 shack, hopefully. We're also going to need lumber. Oh, we need to get rid of the trash, too. Yeah. Okay, we need to process the trash as soon as possible. You process that. Let's get more cement going. As soon as I'm going to let him process 1 more gravel. Then we need to get him on the lumber deposit. Okay, we've got cement. We've got some food. You process the remainder of that rain. That'll get us 1 more water. Okay. Let's make another cement. This should produce a shack. I don't know if we're going to need a second shack or not. Guess we'll find out in a second. Okay, shacks. We need 4 food. Okay. It's better for them to not have housing than it is for them to have a shack and not have food. So currently, since we don't have enough food for more than 1 person, it's better for us to only build the 1 shack. Which means I'm going to sell a cement. And that will get us enough money to get another pack. Water deposit. 2 water deposits. Okay. Let me think. How am I going to get more money? Metal scraps. Okay, we need those. Oh, let's see. Extraction, commodity deposit, factory parts, and a worker. What do we need to make factory parts again? I remember it involving metal. Factory parts. Gravel, metal scraps. Damn it, we don't have any gravel. But we do need to keep the metal scraps around. Okay, let's sell the cement. Metal scraps, lumber deposit. That's the last thing we needed. Okay, let's process a water deposit. Let's process 2 water deposits. And then we'll sell the water. And that should buy us another precious resources. Which gets us more water. I don't know if I actually want to open this now that I think about it. Because what if we get a trash? We're right close to the end of the day. That's a terrible idea. So let's hold off on opening the rest of this pack. Matter of fact, let's just kind of hold off on everything for a second. We're going to lose 1 happiness. In theory. There's the gravel we need, but we don't have a gravel deposit. We can make a factory parts though. You process the trash. You process yet another water deposit. More metal scraps. There's the gravel deposit I was looking for. Yet another water deposit. Okay. We're going to make a gravel extraction thing, and we're going to make a lumber one next after that, I think. Okay. And we got a credit card from somewhere. Oh, out of the trash. Okay, cool. Gravel pit. Yay! We'll assign a worker to the gravel pit. And that'll get us the gravel to combine with these metal scraps to make more factory parts, which we can then use to turn these deposits into infinites. But we don't have food or housing. So we need to fix that. It looks like we just need grain. A lot of grain. So we really need to buy precious resources repeatedly. Farmland is a gravel and 2 lumber. Oh, wait. I didn't realize we could get that. Okay. I'm a derp. Well, our first gravel is going to go with these 2 lumber to make a farmland then. But we do still need to buy more. There's some grain. A shiny gravel deposit. Which unfortunately is not useful to us. We should have built a farm much earlier. I forgot that it didn't actually require grain to make more grain. Okay, but anyway, we can make factory parts and we can make a... I guess we'll use the foil one. Usually the foils are not worth doing anything with because they are... Okay, 60 seconds to produce grain. We don't have that much time before we need more stuff. Yeah, anyway, usually shinies are, well, worth more, but in this case they're not because it's a 0 value card. So, I don't want to sell any of this stuff. Yeah, I lost 2 happiness. I know. I will fix it in a minute. The farmland should help a lot. We should get 2 grain out of every farmland, which means we need 2 farmland, which means we need a water deposit. So I'm going to produce the gravel that he's working on right now. And then I'm going to have him make more factory parts. And we'll make a water deposit to a water pump. Okay. We'll construct a gravel. Wait, why am I making another... No, that's stupid. You get to work on that immediately. I don't need a second gravel pit. Wish that foil was worth something, but it's not. Okay, we got a water pump. Guess we're gonna have to eat raw grain for a little bit. We need to make an actual factory. Okay. I don't remember how to make factory. I think it's multiple factory parts, maybe. Here, you process that gravel, these gravel deposits. And then factory. Do I need to have... two factory parts and a worker, okay. I don't think the factory requires electricity, but I don't remember. If it does require electricity, then we'll be a little bit boned, but it won't be that bad. We should be able to start producing bread 2000 as well. That just requires water to be added to the factory. Hello, Colo. Okay, our happiness stayed the same, quote, end quote. Sunshine gives +1 happiness at the end of the day. Wind is useful for energy. Rain we can harvest for water. Which we don't really need to do, but... more water is better than less water, I suppose. Alright, I need to make more factory parts. Which means we're going to sell this gravel and use it to buy resources. Another water deposit? I need a metal is what I need. Hopefully we'll get that out of the trash. We have a 56% chance to get metal out of the trash, so that'll get us another factory part, which should get us a factory, which should get us food production. It's a theory anyway. Found a fun new game, kind of like Noida, but with a neurotrauma mod from Borrow. That sounds painful, not fun, Colo. Let's keep that gravel for now. Damn it, I got a freaking toy. Well, that's plus happiness, I guess. Let's start processing that water deposit and we can ship water out. I shouldn't have done that close to the end of the day. We could have been hit by a trash penalty. Okay. Lumber deposit. Gravel deposit. Let's process the gravel. Also, we'll start using the credit card. I keep forgetting I have it. Lumber, trash. Okay, we need that. More trash. We need that. Another lumber deposit. Okay. We need to get you working on that trash because if we're around by the end of the day, we have problems. And also, it's our best chance to get metal at this point to build the factory we need. Okay, we get food instead. We kind of need to make another shack. Oh, wait. No, we don't. I'm reading this wrong. Shacks provide 3 housing space, apparently. I was reading it as shacks provide 1 housing space. So workers are all properly housed. And we're providing enough food. So we don't actually need to worry about our housing at all. Okay, that's actually makes me happy. Because the basic grain should provide enough then. Let's build ourselves a factory. Then we can use the grain plus water to produce vast quantities of food. Once we have some energy. Apparently we get a free hamster wheel. No, we don't. It just showed us a hamster wheel. Bait and switch. Scammers. Okay, what do we need to make a wind turbine? Factory parts, a wind, and a worker. Okay. That's not bad at all. We just need, you know, factory parts. Which we should be able to do. If I can get some more trash, which I don't want to open that until the next day. More grain, that's fine. More lumber, that's fine. More trash, that's good. You process that. Please get some metal. Man, you have a shit ton of lumber deposits. I don't know why I even bothered making the gravel pit and tree plantation, I guess. Copper bar, okay, that'll come in handy. Also, it's worth a lot of money, but I don't want to sell that until later. I really need metal, not copper. Okay, we have a shit ton of lumber, so I'm going to start selling that and use it to get important materials. Like these metal scraps right here. There's the factory parts we need to make the power. It's gravel deposit. Let's move this guy down and have him make the wind generator. Yeah, let's leave this alone just in case it pops a trash. Okay. Wind turbine. Yay, okay. That will power the factory. Go ahead and process that trash, please. And then we need to get this guy assigned to the factory so we can start producing high quality, what do you want to call it? Food. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't sound fun, Colo. We are running out of card capacity, which means we're going to have to start selling things to make room. I don't remember what I need to do to get card capacity here. Cement, grain, make a food warehouse is probably a good idea. Okay, bread is worth the same amount as this stuff, but it's worth more money. It's worth the same amount of food. Anyway, we need to build a food warehouse. So cement is gravel and water. We need to start processing that water. You go do that. We'll shut the farmland down for now. I do need more workers. Anyway. Yeah. Good night, Colo. Let's get the worker out of the factory. Actually, let's not get the worker out of the factory because we can keep producing bread. Each bread is a day's worth of food. Assuming we can keep him from eating the grain. Changing weather conditions. Craft UFO. We have more wind, which is good. That's free energy. We have some sunshine, which is free happiness. We could get some good stuff out of the UFO. More bread. We got some uranium. Let's sell that, because we don't need the science. It's a shiny foil science. I think. No, maybe not. Kind of foil. Yeah, it's foil. Let's get rid of that because it's worth 100. We have an undiscovered 3% card in impressive industry. Not sure how that is. Okay, anyway. Let me think. I need cement. To get cement, I need water and gravel. And we're going to need grain for that too, so let's assign a worker to the farmland and go. Okay. I've got some cement. I think it's cement plus grain plus worker to make a food warehouse. And that should control what food gets eaten. We're going to need a landfill soon. 3 gravel, metal scrap, a worker. Okay, well this gravel deposit will give us the gravel we need. We should probably get a landfill before we need it. Stop eating the frickin' grain. Alright, anyway. That's why we need to build the food warehouse, so we can prevent them, make them eat the bread instead of the grain. Also, you get to work on that gravel deposit. I need the gravel out of it. Okay. We can get copper and iron deposits out of major metals. Which is probably a good idea. Okay, food warehouse is cement grain worker. We'll have a grain in a second. Landfill is 3 gravel, metal scrap worker. Water treatment plant's not useful yet. We need a septic tank before we upgrade our shack. That's not hard to get. Okay, 3 gravel, 1 metal scrap worker. 3 gravel, metal scrap worker. Make a landfill. Let's get working on that food warehouse. Got 3 days of food stocked up, so that's not a problem. I forgot the landfill needs a sewer connection. Cement water worker. We don't have water. We do have cement. We might get -2. We should be fine, actually. I think. Okay. Let's get back to producing grain. We'll need that. Okay. 20 seconds. We have 11 seconds to the end of the day. Yeah, no, we're gonna get a -2. Damn it. I forgot the landfill needed a connection. I kind of wish it would tell you at a time, but... that's fine. We can survive a -2 with no problem. Okay. Let's move this shit, literally, over here. And that should get rid of any pollution problems we might eventually have. Also, we should be able to now build an apartment if we wanted to. Okay, let's produce more water because we're going to need that combined with the grain. Got 2 days worth of bread. Yeah, for some reason the other apartments tell you how much they house. The shack doesn't. Which is interesting. Oh well. I need a storage building. Not a storage building, but a card count increase. $20 money on a shack to recruit a worker. I should actually go ahead. Recruit one more worker because we do have the worker waiting in space for it. And then you can go work the factory. We'll crank out more bread. That should do it. Now, storage container, 2 lumber, a metal scrap, a worker. We do need storage containers. I'd like to automate our food. I don't remember if I can fully automate water production or not. Pretty sure I can, because obviously the water pump is not necessarily the... Anyway, landmarks. Do we have any of these that are particularly easy to make? 5 grain, 5 iron bar. Okay, that's kind of expensive. Four lumber to make a city park. Increases card cap by 2 for every 10 money given to it. City hall. 2 cement, 2 lumber. Financial crisis. All packs are 50% more expensive. Okay, we just don't buy packs for a bit then. Sunshine's nice, that's +1 happiness. Rain's nice, that's free water. We don't really need it though. Speaking of not needed it. We've got enough for several days of food. City Park is 4 lumber. I don't remember if a city park has any needs other than just we build it. Because some of the landmarks, you need to do things to keep them in operation, and if you don't, then you get unhappiness instead of happiness. This DLC has a bit of a... I wouldn't call it a problem, because it really isn't. But it does a lot of things where it springs things on you that it's like, oh, you had enough stuff laying around to build that, huh? Well, I guess you're ready to take care of it now, aren't you? Aren't you? Okay, landmark in city for first time, +2 happiness. And then you just have to keep this piece of shit around forever. It doesn't do anything for you. It's just a thing you built and it takes up one of your card cap forever and ever, amen. Okay. We do want the city hall, but I think the city hall needs power. So we don't want the city hall. Yet. Let's keep producing bread, because that's one thing that we can safely store. Okay, City Park is, I believe, worthless now. But we did get some nice well-being out of it. Which I suppose is good. Alright, now for the next thing we want to build, what do we want to do? I'd like another wind turbine. We could use that for City Hall. For which we need factory parts. Actually, okay. Major metals gives us high chance at metal scraps, copper deposits, and iron deposits. We need those. So let's go ahead and buy a major metals pack. Copper ore is nice. Metal scraps are nice. Actually, metal scraps are amazing. Iron deposit, okay. Do I have gravel laying around? No, I don't. Congratulations, you're working on the gravel pit. We're going to turn this iron deposit into an iron mine. I believe the iron mine and the copper mine require power to run. But I guess we'll see. Okay, let's keep that factory going. Hello, Dread. All right. We are on the card cap, so we do need to be a little careful. Obviously, every bit of bread we make improves our situation somewhat. This looks new. This is Stacklands, which I have played a whole bunch of times on stream. Okay, let's go ahead and make an iron mine. The type. Okay, we need power to run the iron mine, which is not too surprising. Oh yeah, this is Stacklands 2000 DLC. I did a run of this when it came out, which was a while ago. I don't remember how long ago. Okay. Was it metal scraps and wind, or was it factory parts and wind? Factory parts and wind. Okay, we need gravel then. Okay. Stacklands 2000 is... it's different from vanilla for sure. There's a lot of focus on automation. And instead of having your workers stacked on a card, your workers are inserted into the card. And then they're connected together in chains. Actually, there's a bunch of different chains. Cards require energy. For example, this wind turbine produces 1 energy. It's connected with a wire to this factory, which needs 1 energy. Eventually, we'll get all the way up to nuclear plants that produce massive amounts of energy. And that has to be run through transformers and to break it down to the amount we actually need. Right now, I'm working on making another wind turbine, which I need so I can build a city hall, which I want, so that I can increase my card cap. I've got enough food that I'm gonna retire producing more of it in a bit. For now, we need to run the gravel pit because we're gonna need more gravel, and then we're gonna need to start running the water pump again because we want to make cement. Let's make one last thing of bread. You go run the water pump. I can't remember if there's any benefit to automating. Oh yeah, I forgot this was a thing we could even do. Robot workers. I don't remember if there's anything special robot workers need. I'm pretty sure they required something other than what the human workers needed. Anyway, there's our first cement. Water is produced much faster than gravel. So that's not an issue. Also, we're going to want more water stockpiled for anyways for this. So that we can make more bread when we need to. Actually, you get out of there. Don't need you running the factory anymore when there's no stuff being done. Let's see. A festival. It's nice, I suppose. Sunshine's a +1. Sunshine's a +1. Alright. A little bit more happiness. Nothing terribly important. Let's go ahead and work that lumber deposit real quick. More cement. Let's see, it was under landmarks, wasn't it? City Hall. 2 cement, 2 lumber. Okay, that's perfect, actually. And a villager. Who will be you? And it specifically needs to be a $10 thing. How do I split these? I don't remember if I even can. No. Well, I can buy a precious resource pack. That gets me what I need. City Hall. There's a trash, a water deposit. Which I might actually want to keep an extra deposit around of every type. More lumber. That's always nice to have. We need to process the trash before the end of the day or we get a -1 happiness. That won't be a problem, though. As soon as City Hall is done, we'll put that worker on processing the trash. Not sure what the festival does. Right now, I'm not going to worry about it. City Hall. +1 happiness if it's in the city for the first time. -1 if it doesn't have energy. It's a good thing I remembered it needed energy, or we could have been sad. Although we did have this other wind turbine we could have grabbed for an emergency use. Okay. Now, if I had money, I would spend it at City Hall to get more card cap. I do not currently have money. We can fix that. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that very thing. Metal scrap. We need those fairly badly. Let's sell more water. More card cap. That gets us over the amount we needed to hold today's cards. We still have plenty of food. Let's make more cement. Okay. I would really like to have a nuclear power plant, but we need 3 educated workers to make one of those. Oh wait, we can use sunshine to make solar panels if we had plastic, which we don't, so it doesn't matter. The water wheel. I remember using the water wheel in a sort of infinite loop with a sewage treatment plant and apartments. Don't remember if it was luxury apartments or normal apartments. But I was using the water wheel to power the apartments and the sewage treatment plant. And the sewage treatment plant water was going into the water wheel. Three lumber, a water, and a worker. That sounds quite cheap, actually. Let's go ahead and build one of those. Okay. Gained 3 happiness, 2 from sunshine, 1 from the city hall. City's well-being is getting higher. Higher well-being will cause goblins to attack. Okay, your workers are loving the festival. We got some merch. That's nice. We can either sell it now for 100 monies, or we can keep it in the city for 2 happiness. I'm going to sell it because I could use the cash. Specifically, I could use all 100 cash on more card cap. Which gets up to 49 card cap, which is really nice. Now, I want to automate food if I can. We need another lumber to make the water wheel. Let's see. I can't remember. We need to make lots of lumber. So we'll just leave a worker on lumber for now. The worker on the water pump can be pulled. He can make the water wheel. Yeah. I don't actually plan to use the water wheel right away. I'm just making it so it's available if I need it later. Which is a decent policy. Same reason why I made the landfill and the septic tank. Well, the septic tank was made to take care of the landfill, but it'll be useful for other things as well. Okay, this outputs 3 energy, which is quite good. I don't remember how often it consumes water. Okay, it generates energy for 30 seconds from 1 water. That's good to know. The hydroponic... I need a better water source. Well, actually, no, I don't. What I really need right now is a better source of money. Because I need to buy some of these cards to get more deposits. And I don't remember... Okay, what do I need to make the smelter thingy? Three metal scraps and a worker to make an iron bar. Oh, that's nice. Not what I'm looking for, though. Industrial smelter. There we go. Factory parts, 2 metal scraps, a worker. Okay, we just need to get a ton of metal scraps then. And then we need more power, of course. But we need that to get the iron mine running, for which we need more power. For which we're probably going to end up having to build a burner generator or something similar. Let's go ahead and get an apartment up so we can hire more workers. 3 cement, a worker. Okay, we've got 1 cement already. We've got the materials for 3 cement. Let's make an apartment. We should have what we need for the apartment. If the apartment requires power, we have the wind generator. I'm pretty sure the apartment needs a septic. I don't actually want to produce that Okay, there we go. It'll produce at the beginning of the next moon now. We do not want to produce power, or we don't want to produce the apartment at the end of a moon where I don't have time to handle downsides of having an apartment in my city. Okay, apartment needs power and sewer. I'm going to sell the shack. And then we connect the sewer to the septic. And then we switch to the energy view. We disconnect the factory. Connect that up. This consumes the same amount of food as the shack did, but it holds 2 more people. Which is perfectly good. Actually, this brings up a question. Okay, we can indeed recruit workers from the apartment. I couldn't remember, I just suddenly had a realization that, oh no, I don't have a shack anymore. I don't know if I can recruit workers from an apartment. But I can. Apparently they cost twice as much though. Boo. That's fine. We can live with that. You get to work on the water pump. You get to work on the farm. You produce every 30 seconds. You produce every 60 seconds. Okay. So we could run 2 farms and 1 water pump to feed 1 factory to produce food. Or, and this is what we're probably actually going to do, I can build a junction using a cement and a gravel. Okay, because we're going to set up some automated stuff. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, I see what we're going to do. All right. Energy. Water wheel to factory. Let's move that crap down to the bottom corner so I can forget about it. Water wheel to iron mine. Water pump. And farmland. Okay, farmland to factory. Factory to food warehouse. Now we need to make a junction, which is cement and gravel. Which we will have shortly. Cement and gravel worker. Okay. Junction. Water pump connects to the junction. Junction connects to the factory and the water wheel. Now, what this should do make all this run. Now we can just hook up or put a worker in the iron mine, and we'll have iron to go with our food production. So the farm should pop out of grain soon, which should go to the factory. The water pump should immediately pop out of water to go to the factory as well. And then the next water goes to the water wheel, which will, unfortunately, not get there in time, I just realized, because this is only going to run half the time. Damn it. That'll work still. It won't give us uptime on the iron mine, which is unfortunate. But we weren't using that right now anyway. It will run the factory enough, hopefully. It reset its progress. Yeah, no. We need double the water, or more than double the water to run the water wheel. Damn it. This needs to consume one every 60. If it provides just enough water to get the factory to kick out a bread, that'll still work. But I don't think it does. Anyway, I'm selling this crap. I'm selling that crap. Okay, it did actually kick out a bread. If it continues kicking, just barely kicking out a bread every time, that'll work. Yeah. Okay, anyway. We've got food automated at the cost of 3 workers. Which is... Oh, that needs to not happen. Earthquake. I don't remember what earthquake does. We have 2 rain, which we can harvest for water. That's good. While paused, let's put them in, make sure that's synced up together. Which will be nice, I think. And then they should both produce onto the factory, and then they wait until it produces onto the water wheel. And everything will work, hopefully. I don't remember what the earthquake does. Uh-oh. Can be repaired with money. How much money? 30, 10, 20. Okay, well, let's repair the landfill, so that shuts up. Let's repair the farmland. And the iron mine I don't really care about, but we do need to repair it. Otherwise... Okay. Now... that should do, I hope. What's next? I need a better water source. I don't remember if there even is a better water source. I'm pretty sure there is, but I don't remember what it is. The water treatment plant is a better water source, but that requires a lot of sewage to run full time. And obviously that has its own issues. The robot station needs for housing robot workers. There we go. I do want the hydroponic farm. That should work. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, anyway, whatever. What do I want to work on next? Probably just making money for a bit. Because I do want to buy more major metals. Yeah, I do want to buy more major metals. Which will get us metal deposits. Copper deposit, there we go. Iron ore, don't care about that. Really, not until we have the smelter. Metal scraps I need to pile up because we're going to need a bunch of those to make the smelter. Damn it, where was that smelter? It was under automation. Yeah, there we go. Factory parts, 2 metal scraps. Okay, we need to grab a worker. Congratulations, you're it. You'll make a factory part. Hopefully get another metal scrap out of this, because if so, that'll get us what we want. This is working surprisingly well. Okay, good. 2 metal scraps. Plus a factory part. Gets us a smelter. Now, if the smelter takes 30 seconds or less to smelt an item, which we'll be able to find out here in a second, then we can run that off the water wheel, I think. Guess we'll find out. Needs 2 power. And 2 workers. Okay, well, you get out of the tree plantation. And then let's unhook you. Hook you up. 30 seconds. Okay. So we will need a fresh dose of power from the water wheel to run the smelter all the way through. We can smelt 1 item every cycle, which is cool, I suppose. That will come in handy. Now I do actually need iron ore, which means we need more power. Alright, do we have any good energy options that don't have major downsides? The burner generator produces pollution, which isn't that big of a deal, but it does burn lumber, which I'd rather burn something else. Hamster wheel just generates 1 energy from 1 labor. Nuclear power plant is obviously the king, but we don't have the uranium for that. Wind turbines and solar panels are the lazy option. We're already using a water wheel, and I don't really want to make another one right now. We could afford it easily enough. Well, we have to get water from somewhere. We could get water temporarily from the rain and use that to run a water wheel for a little bit just to get a couple iron. I don't think that's a worthwhile thing to do. The oil-fired power plant is right out because we don't have educated workers. And we don't have oil. So I think our best bet is just to either build a burner generator or a hamster wheel. But I don't want to build a hamster wheel, that's dumb. And the burner generator requires factory parts and iron bars, which you don't have, I guess. We could just wait until we were given more wind or more sunshine and use that. But obviously, that's not great either. Okay, what do I have for available workers? I have 2 in the smelter. We can pull those out because they're not actually doing anything useful anymore. Which means, actually, I can disconnect the energy from the smelter and run the iron mine for a bit. Actually, I might not be able to because it might take more than 30 seconds to do a cycle of the iron mine, which would be bad. Anyway, let's produce water from the rain, stack that up somewhere so we have some free water to use to make cement or whatever else we might need to make. Yes, it takes 60 seconds to make an iron ore, and when we run out of power, this will be reset to 0, so it's not worth wasting time on that. Which means we need to make some kind of generator. Which means we should probably start working on the major metals thing. first, let's re-hook up the smelter. Because the iron mine will never run off that, whereas the smelter can. And then let's go ahead and sell some shit and get major metals. Boom. Uh, 2x rain and a pack sale. Well, it was a good thing I was just planning to buy some packs then, wasn't it? Metal scraps are always welcome. Copper ore. More copper ore. And a copper deposit. Okay, I really need another worker. I really need reliable, large amounts of power, but that's not going to happen for a while. Let's finish collecting rain. Yeah, he should be done before the water's available to run the water wheel. And then this worker's got to go work at the smelter. And we should get 1 copper bar out of every cycle. I'm going to sell this copper bar, and we're going to use it to buy another major metals pack. There's the iron ore we need. Yet another copper deposit. Damn it, stop giving me copper deposits. I could go ahead and juice up the water wheel manually, just so we can run the smelter some more. And I probably should. Yeah. I'll think about it. Another copper bar. We're going to keep this one. Okay. We'll smelt the iron ore next. That'll give us an iron bar. We can get the factory parts now. And that should get us a burner generator. Remember correctly, 1 tree plantation full-time can support a single burner generator. I don't remember how much power that produces. Guess we'll find out. Yeah. Anyway. We have the iron bar, we have the factory parts. Let's grab a worker. Make a burner power. This is gonna be a little annoying to run. We don't have the people to run the smelter right now. I do have plenty of food, so I should probably turn off this setup. Okay, this outputs 5 power. That is really good for us. Because that means I can disconnect that. And we can set up a system whereby we can automate production if we have 3 people to work it, 4 people to work it. Okay, let's get it started by getting some power running. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn off the farms. Get a guy in the iron mine, get 2 guys in the smelter, And this should start outputting bars eventually, TM. As soon as the burner generator kicks on, I'm going to go ahead and give copper ore to the smelter. And we'll process them until the iron's available. And in between when iron's available. I think the mine produces that slower than the smelter does, but I guess we'll find out in a second. Also, we need to start thinking about educating our work, or at least some of our workers. Okay. The burner generator does indeed run for the same amount of time as the tree plantation does. The iron mine runs the same amount of time. The smelter runs much faster. So we can manually feed stuff into the smelter. Also, with the factory no longer running, we can get a guy out and have him run the copper deposit. That should produce copper ore we can feed into the smelter whenever the iron mine's not running. So we now have copper bars and iron bars on tap. I do want to... let's see. We've got enough food to last for a good long time. I should get another apartment going, but I don't have the energy for it right now. Not unless we tap off something else, like this burner generator. Which we could do. Okay, so I believe that the smelter runs twice as fast as the mine, which means we could build a copper mine and run it off this system and have it automating both copper and iron fairly easily. We need a better power plant for sure. Which is fine. That's why we're making the iron. Because by automating iron, we can make more factory parts. Okay, you break that up into metal. Or, you know, scrap metal that we can use to make factory parts. We're going to need somebody else to run the gravel pit, which we don't have anyone available right now. Ooh, 3 metal scraps. Okay, didn't realize it was that much. Okay, you go run the gravel pit. We just need gravel. Alright. And now we just need to feed this a copper ore every time it produces an iron ore manually. And that should give us plenty of copper and iron bars to use to industrialize a little bit. But also we need gravel. Lots of gravel. What do I need for a resource container? That's under automation, isn't it? Storage container, 2 lumber, a metal scrap, a worker. Okay, we'll just do without resource containers for now. We need to keep in mind that we need a bunch of those eventually. Okay. We need a copper deposit. Damn, I used all my copper deposits. I should have kept one behind. Because we do need a copper mine. Okay, let's sell most, but most certainly not all of our copper. Because I need to buy modern metal pack, or major metal packs. There's sunshine. Drought. I don't remember what drought does. Okay. Solar panels require sunshine and plastic. We don't have any plastic, so just forget about that. Move them over there. Their happiness. I have a feeling that we're going to want water. So we better process these rain cards. And I kind of want a storage card. Which was 2 lumber and a metal scrap. And a worker. So once he's done processing the first rain, it'll be too fast to get all the rain out of here anyway. We'll get our first storage card. Drought has hit the city. Damaged the farm. Need to give it 3 water to run. It's a good thing we only had 1 farm and it wasn't actually being used. Okay, storage card. What do I actually want to use this for right now? Here. Shred that iron bar real quick. And then we'll have you get back and store water in it. Because we're going to have a lot of that once we finish processing this rain. And then we need to get back to the gravel pit. Actually, what do we need for the water treatment plant? 3 cement, 2 plastic. Okay, we don't have any plastic, nor are we going to get it right away. Plastic is made at the factory, I think. Yes, 2 oil at the factory. And to get oil, we need the oil rig, which requires 3 water, 2 electric motors. I think the electric motor is just copper bar at the factory. But I'm actually not sure. I should make more factories for sure. Okay, you get back to the gravel pit because we need more factory parts. Lots of them. We need to do a much better job of automating our food too. Yeah. Gravel pit's so slow. I can't remember if there's a way to speed them up or not. Don't really think so. I think you just kind of got to run them a long time. We definitely need to get off the burner generator for energy though. Which means really, ideally, we should go to an oil power plant. But we need an educated worker for that. To get an educated worker... I just need more workers right now. We need to move over to more apartments. We need to move off septic tank. We need more power. The water treatment plant requires 2 plastic. Okay, we're not getting that anytime soon. Unless... Also, we need to start worrying about maybe being invaded soon. We need a copper deposit. So let's keep buying major metals. Copper deposit. Okay, hell yeah. Iron ore. We've got all the metal scraps we could ever need right now. So that's good. Let's keep making factory parts. I'd like to automate them eventually, but that's not going to happen for a bit. We do need more factories, but really we need more power first. I kind of want to see if I can leapfrog straight to nuclear. But to do that, we need more apartments. We need more... Yeah. I really just need to hook a water wheel directly to a water pump. And run it straight time to power the apartments and stuff. And then we can replace the water pump later with a sewer treatment plant. And we can remove this wind turbine, hook it to that factory, and that'll make things all a little bit better. Yeah. So if I remove you from the gravel pit and put you in the water pump, and then unhook transport, water wheel over there, water pump to water wheel. Okay, that's power for this complex now. Energy, unhook you from the factory. We're about to run out of cards. Let's buy more card space. Okay, water wheel is now running. Let's get the apartment hooked up. Okay, we need a second apartment, which means 3 cement. We don't actually have enough cement. Damn it. Or enough gravel to make the cement, I should say. Which means we need to grab somebody from something. You're out of work at the iron mine. Get back to work at the gravel pit. We've got all this copper to use up. Actually, not that much since we sold most of it. We really don't need more iron and copper right now, though, so we can shut this down. At least partially. The landfill's kind of getting full. Not too full, though. Not yet. Okay. We need to make more containers so we can get the gravel pit running off of one. Or running into one. Okay, the smelter will shut down as soon as we're done processing all this crap. Right, 8 pollution, which I don't like. Okay, apartment is 3 cement. Yes, okay. By the time we have 3 cement, we'll be able to pull workers out of the smelter, I think. We definitely need more money, so we're going to sell some of this copper because we have way too much of it. It's less useful than the iron, but it is still useful. Sunshine, wind, and a wildfire. I'd really rather you didn't, thank you. Okay, the sunshine's just straight up happiness. I'm okay with that. The wind, we're going to turn into some more energy. Wind turbines require factory parts, wind, and a worker. Which we're about to have our workers at the smelter finish up. So we'll grab one of them and have them make a wind turbine. And we'll grab the other one and have him make the apartment. Which we can do any moment now. Okay, fires roaming the city. Water pump, smelter, landfill. The real problem here is that straight up shuts buildings off. I'm going to need to put an extra water on the water wheel to take care of that problem. Smelter. Okay, I think that's everything that was on fire. Yeah. Alright. There's our second apartment. Okay. I'm going to disconnect the burner generator because it's no longer actually doing anything useful. Apartment, you need to be hooked up to sewer. And power as soon as possible. And that gets us 5 more worker space. Just splendoriferous. Wind turbine. New wind turbine. This is going to get hooked to the factory over here. Now, I need another water thing. Because we need to get food up and running as quickly as possible again. Looks like we have exactly enough to buy the workers we need. Okay. Or the workers that we can support. I need to replace this farmland. I don't need to replace the water farmland, but I should replace the farmland with a hydroponic one. I need another water pump. Wait, I have an extra wind turbine laying around? Oh yeah, because I was using a wind turbine to power the apartment for the longest time. Okay, well we have an extra wind turbine laying around. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, you run the water pump. Water pump into junction. This should pump out water every 30 seconds. And then every 60 seconds we need that at the factory. We either build another farmland. Actually, here's actually what we're going to do. No, we're not. We're going to build a hydroponic. If I can. Which I just realized I don't know if I can afford hydroponics. Oh, where is the damn thing? Automation? No. Oh, it's under cooking. Requires 2 plastic. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, here's what we'll do then. We're producing double the amount of water we need. We'll send every other water to the water container instead of the factory. That'll do just fine. And that should hopefully provide enough food to keep everybody happy. Because days are like 120 seconds or something. We should kick out twice the amount of food we need. Roughly. Okay, let's buy one more worker. Because we can support that many. And that gives us some extra workers to work with. Which is awesome, because we need them. Now, Storage containers require 2 lumber, a metal scrap, and a worker. Okay, 2 lumber, metal scrap, worker. I want storage containers for the gravel pit and the tree plantation. Okay. Gravel container. Hook the gravel pit to the gravel container. Yay, problem solved. Okay. Now we just need to do the same thing to the lumber container. Or for a lumber container. Are there any other industries that we could easily power and provide with workers? Not really. Not without wasting all of our lumber running the burner generator. And we don't really need more iron bars anyway, although we could sell them and make a good amount of money. That would be nice, I suppose. Ah. Hello, Ash. Yes, we're playing this again. I was just kind of looking over the list of games I had available. I was like, you know, I haven't played Stacklands in a very long time. Well, actually, it's not that long, but I haven't played it in a while. And I like playing Stacklands, so let's play more Stacklands. I only played through the Stacklands 2000 DLC once. It definitely would not hurt to do it again, so here we are. Okay. Let's make another storage container so we can provide one for the lumber plantation. Then I want a couple for copper and iron bars, another one for metal scraps. Basically, I want to build a whole bunch of storage containers. I haven't been doing that for a while because they're not incredibly cheap. But it will clean the board up a lot and help us organize things. Okay, also we need to start working on an academy, which is 2 cement, 2 iron bar, 2 copper bar, and a worker. Okay, 2 iron bar, 2 copper bar. I don't have any... Oh, there's a copper deposit that I was going to make into a copper mine and never got around to doing. We can make cement pretty easily. Now that we've got automated water. Okay. Boom. For low cost of 5 workers, we could now run this setup and produce 1 iron and 1 copper bar every 30 seconds. Which would be nice. I don't have 5 workers to dedicate to it though. Okay, let's make the academy. I don't think the academy requires... I'd probably better be ready to build an emergency septic tank. Which we should be able to do without too much trouble. And we do have a wind turbine to dedicate to the purpose if we need to. I don't like how close we're cutting it on food. Okay, academy needs 1 power and needs 1 septic. What did I just say about emergency septic tank? Cement water worker. Okay. Probably should have gotten ahead of this. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't have to, though. Okay, this will allow us to educate workers, which is a good idea. We have workers sitting around that aren't doing anything, so we'll educate a bunch of them. Cement, water, worker. We have 20 seconds. Hopefully it doesn't produce any sewage before then, but I'm not going to hold my breath. There's a pretty good chance that it will. Gained +2 happiness for having an academy in the city for the first time. There's sewage, which we can't do anything with. It's just going to give us minus happiness. Okay. That's why when I first thought of the septic tank, I should have just built one. Or started building one. Let's go ahead and educate a worker. Which takes a whole day. Losing 2 happiness is no big deal. We can get that back easily if we need to. Okay. What is a bigger deal is that we're just right on the edge of producing enough food. Producing exactly enough, but if anything disrupts our food production, we could be hosed and lose some happiness from it. Like, we're not quite perfectly timed. It's a little tiny bit ahead of where it needs to be. So we could take the tiniest delays, but yeah, it's not great. We need a water treatment plant, which means we need plastic, which means we need an oil rig, which requires electric motors and water. I think we can make electric motors from copper in a factory. So I'm going to see if we can get a little bit of extra production out of this factory, because, well, we could also build a factory, which is probably a good idea, because we do need more factories. 2 factory parts and a worker, I think, to make a factory. And we do have all the metal scraps we could ever want for the time being, so more factories is not a bad thing. We're going to need to build a bunch of them eventually. Okay. We lost 2 happiness. Oh no, how could that possibly have happened? Oh, we got a crashed UFO. 2 rain. Okay, you guys work on the rain. You go investigate the UFO. Actually, don't investigate the UFO. I'm curious if an educated worker can get more out of it. Probably not. 2% chance to get an alien, which is nice, I suppose. Okay, you work at the factory, which we're going to get power from somewhere. Probably this water wheel, honestly. Yeah, we have 1 extra power there. Let's go ahead and copper bar. Is it 2 copper bar? Constructing an electric motor. Okay, yeah, it's 2 copper bars. Which means we need to get this up and running again because I sold a bunch of copper bars and now I need them back. Educated worker. You, go get educated as well. We need more of them. Process the rain over here. We can go into the water container. Pizza's so good. Of course it is. Oh, we got an electric motor out of the UFO. Okay. Well, there's 3 electric motors that we need for the oil rig. Oh, we need 2 electric motors. Okay, well now I got 4 electric motors. And some metal scraps. Okay, we take those. Oil rig. 3 water, 2 electric motors. 1, 2, 3... 2 electric motors, educated worker. We don't actually need an educated worker, but it'll do. I can't remember if educated workers work faster. I don't think they do. Okay, oil rig. Needs a worker. 2 workers. And a bit of power. Let's disconnect that factory, connect up the oil rig. Okay. Now, the nuclear plant requires 3 educated workers, 3 iron bars, which we have, 3 uranium, which we can get, and some science. I don't remember what we need to do to get science. Sure, it won't be that hard to figure out, though. Laboratory. 3 copper bar, 3 plastic, 3 educated workers. Okay, well, let's run the oil rig to get the plastic we need. Yeah, I'm not terribly fond of supreme pizzas. They have too many peppers on them. They are still good. But you have to pick the peppers off, and yeah. Good old sausage mushroom pizza is amazing, though. Hard to go wrong with sausage and mushrooms. I think I'm going to go ahead and make the hydroponic farm with our first plastic. Which means I need to hook this factory to somebody's extra power. Wait, nope, that's not the extra. Oh yeah, the extra wind turbine went over there to the academy. Okay, so we would need to turn the oil rig off to run the factory. Blah. Alright. Pepperoni, ham, sausage, green peppers, black olives, mushrooms. Now see, all of that sounds great except the green peppers. You can just leave those off. But olives are good on pizza. Mushrooms are amazing on pizza. Sausage is probably the best of the meat toppings. Pepperoni's pretty good. Pepperoni's a classic for a reason. And of course, the extra cheese is good. I support extra cheese. Okay, hydrofarm is 2 plastic. Let's disconnect the oil rig. Connect the factory. Then we can produce some plastic. Okay, we've got 2 of the 3 educated workers we need. Which I think the worker in the factory might be educated too. Alright, plastic. Got the factory parts. Got 1 of the plastics. The second plastic, as soon as it's made, it should self-produce itself. It should start assembling itself. Then we can get rid of the old farm. I think the hydro farm doesn't require a worker? I'm not sure though. It definitely does require water, so we're going to have to modify this a little bit. But that's fine, we can do that. Okay, remove you. Boom. Look up the oil rig. Get that running again, because we need more plastic. Okay, hydro farm. It does require a worker. I don't want to disrupt this any more than I have to. So let's wait for this to stop producing. Then we're going to pause. And we're going to swap it out while paused so it doesn't slow down. The hydro farm should produce twice as fast though, which is actually a bit of an issue now that I think about it, because we're not going to have enough water. Yeah, 10 seconds to produce food. Oh wait, no. It doesn't need water. It just says it needs water. Lying slime. Okay. So we don't actually need to do anything special. We just need to remove you. Cut that line, put that line in. Now we're going to be producing too much grain, I believe. But that's fine. We can do that. We can live with that. I probably got to sell that farm card in a second. Because this produces every 30 seconds, this produces every 10 seconds. I need to figure out a way to speed the water pump up. I don't want to provide multiple pumps if I don't have to. So for now, let's just sell the extra. Oh, wait. No, it does use water every 3. That's right. Oh, this is going to complicate it, isn't it? It does need a dedicated water pump. Because it produces 3 grain. Boom, boom, boom. And then needs a water. That's right. Okay. So we need a lot of water to run this system. Let me think. Is there... I don't remember if there's a way to get faster water or not. Surely we don't just have to run that many water pumps. You can use the water treatment plant to get quite a lot of water. But that requires a high population to keep up with needs. And also power. So we need a dedicated water pump for the hydro farm. And then we would need 3 water pumps. Keep up with the factory. But the factory produces every 30 seconds. Which is too slow to keep up with the hydroponic farm. By a lot. By a lot, a lot. So we could run it on a single water pump. If we give it every 4th water. The problem is getting every 4th is going to be tricky. Can you use the extra to sell more packs? Yes. So what I can do is have it alternate 1 water to the factory, 1 water to the hydroponics farm. Or I can build a second water pump, which I should do anyway. Let's see. What's my highest chance to get another water deposit? I think precious resources is probably the highest chance. 25% chance, which isn't great, but also let's get rid of the old farmland. We aren't going to need that. And I can buff this up a little bit by kicking in water manually if I need to. Metal scraps are nice. Gravel deposit. We'll keep around just in case I need more gravel later. Water deposit. Perfect. Okay. Now, we need a gravel. metal scrap. Yeah, let's build another water pump. And what we're going to do is we're going to need more junctions too. Cement, gravel, worker. Okay. We've got all of those things easily. This will let us get a little bit ahead on our... oh, and it takes 30 seconds, looks like, to regenerate. Okay, with that knowledge, it takes 30 seconds to regenerate. It takes 30 seconds to produce 3. So it takes 20 seconds for every grain produced. The water pump produces every 30 seconds. So actually, if we send every third... to the factory. Let's see, is this gonna... let's mentally simulate this real quick. At 30 seconds, we get one on the hydroponic farm. 30 seconds later, we get our first grain. And we get our first water. 10 seconds later, we get another grain. 10 seconds later, we get another grain. We need some way to delay the grain coming out of there, which I don't think I can do. I'm pretty sure I solved this problem before on on the first run, but I don't remember what I did now. That's not going to work for sure. Like if I put it into a container, I don't think there's any way to control the output speed. Okay, we'll output every 10 seconds from a container. Which is not what I want. I'd rather be able to control the timing on that. Although, okay, we can make a container output every 30 seconds if every 10 seconds okay, here we go. We have a speed limiter. All right, I need a different container. I don't want to make another container right now. Oh, that's going to massively... Okay, cement plus gravel. What was I trying to make again? Junction. Okay, yeah, that's good. What do I need to make a container? 2 lumber, metal scrap. Okay, that's easy. We'll make another container. Alright. I'll just have to do some shuffling to keep things working for now. Okay. Let's make a speed limiter. The idea with this system grain comes in, hits the junction, hits the storage container. The storage container outputs to the junction. Wait, I've got this hooked up in reverse. It outputs to the storage container at speed. Every 10 seconds, the storage container outputs to the junction. Twice, it sends back to the container. The third time, it releases to the factory. Yeah, if I need to lower, I will make another container. I need to do that anyway. Oh wait, that's long. I'm thinking the wrong thing. 2 lumber, metal scrap. Okay. Two lumber. What's this? Hamster wheel. Okay, we don't want that for sure. Okay. Long story short, this should output 1 grain every 30 seconds. I think. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to take this. Okay. 1 to the hydroponic farm. Except not really. We need more junctions. Cement, gravel. Okay. Where's my water container? We're going to have to do some more weird junctioning to get the right ratios out. Okay, where's the water container? There it is. Okay, I don't think I need a storage container for this part. Cement, gravel, worker. Okay. Gravel pit, why are you not connected to the gravel container? There we go. Okay, what we need to do here is every 4th card goes to the hydroponic farm. So, every other card goes to the factory. Wait. We can't use a storage container. It needs to be a food container. I think. Where's the damn food warehouse? Okay, there. Cement, grain, worker. Cement, grain, worker. Okay. For now, we're just gonna juggle things manually. We've got the junction here. Okay. It's a bit of an abomination, but I think it'll work. Basically, what we're doing here, every other water goes to this junction or the factory. From this junction, every other water goes to the hydroponic farm or to the factory. And yes, I need to store the iron. Boom. Okay. Get that out of the way so I don't have to look at it. That storage container can be removed. It's no longer doing anything useful. I should probably store oil in it. So I don't have to think about that while it's working. Let's start making food for the next day because we're going to have to. Okay. You output to there, you output to there, you output Back to there. This should trickle out resources. Let's see if it doesn't. Okay, yep. And it should. Sunshine, sunshine, pack sale. That's fine. Okay, it output back to itself. That's exactly what it should be doing. I need to give it more water. It looks like it prefers the bottom exit first. Or maybe it does them in a random order. But it definitely cycle. It'll get to a point where it is cleanly cycling. I think. Usually. We're going to have enough food for the next day, no problem. I don't need to worry about it. Okay, hydroponic farm is back in action. Now. We're going to have too much water for a bit until it's got grain circulating. Okay. Yeah, I don't care about pack sale. Not right now. Let's leave a water on there. Okay, so now it output to there. Now we got a water on here. The next water should go to the factory. We should have one more grain recycle, and then we should get another grain on the factory. Okay. The next grain should go to the factory. The next water should go to the factory. Yep. Okay, hydroponic farm's back on operation. The next grain should recycle a couple more times. Boom. I think we've got it working. And it should be producing food twice as fast as what we were before, which means we should get 16 per day. Boom. Okay, the next water should go to the hydroponic farm. I don't know if I should touch it or not. I think I should be touching it, because I think we're going to end up in a situation where it's one water short of what it should be. But the next water should go to the hydroponic farm. No, I went to the factory. Okay, the next water should go to the hydroponic farm. I'm going to go ahead and touch it, because it needs it. But I think it's out of cycle now. If we weren't, well, we're not actually that tight on food anymore. Okay, you know what? Give that back. There we go. I'm going to let it work itself out. It's probably going to end up sitting for a bit at some point. Like that grain is not supposed to be there, I don't think. So the next water should go to the factory together with the next grain. But I don't actually think I want that grain to go there. Which I do want a grain in there, so it's ready. The timings are all screwed up. I should remove the workers. and let it catch up. But the next water should go to the hydroponic farm. And the hydroponic farm should not be sitting dry like that. Okay. The timing is wrong because timing got screwed up at some point. Because I didn't start it at exactly the right timing, I think. Which means I need to wait, let it get all on cycle. I mean, it'll work the way it is. I just want it to take over perfectly instead of very imperfectly like it is. So at 10 seconds. That's good, more or less. I think that grain will go to the factory. But actually, I think that's... Okay, you're not actually supposed to go there yet. Neither are you. Okay, here, actually, what I need to do... Let's make another junction. I don't actually need a junction for what we're going to do, but I need to test something. Okay. So I need to test which output gets kicked out of a junction first. So, let's make another container. I think we pull that water. The next water should be the right one. Not really. It's like half a cycle off, which is very annoying. Oh well, it'll do fine. Okay, junction. Transport. You output into the junction. You top output to there. Bottom output to the burner generator. We'll see what happens. I believe it should exit out the bottom output first when it's fresh. Yes, it did. Okay. That means that when this was all wired up, I pretty much did it exactly backwards from how it should have been. We got another wind card. That's nice. We'll use that at some point. Like now. Landfill, one of the junctions, a wind turbine, the gravel pit, an apartment. The other apartment. Wind turbine. Junction. And the gravel pit. I think that's all. Okay, anyway. Oh, the other big question I had is... it lasts... okay. It last output from the top. So now it should output from the bottom again, which means it should kick it out. Indeed it did. However, that didn't actually tell me anything. Okay. It last output from the bottom, which means it should output from the top again, which means it should kick it out again for a second time now that we've swapped them. If it doesn't kick it out for a second time, that means junctions don't have memory. Okay, junctions do have memory. Which means you need to know what cycle a junction is on. Okay, let's see where it outputs again. I need to output from the bottom. Okay, so that was output from the top. Next time it'll output from the bottom. Which is what I want. Okay. Now, if we remove all connections from a junction and then reconnect it, it should output from the top if it has memory. And it doesn't wipe when you completely disconnect it. And it output from the top. Okay. So that means junctions have long-term memory that lasts through disconnecting them, which is not good for my purposes. That means I need to figure out where a junction is outputting if I want it to start up correctly when I'm doing weird stuff. Otherwise, we're going to end up in situations where things are getting output incorrectly. Blech. I don't like any of the implications of that. That hydroponic farm should have been refreshed right away. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. If the next water doesn't go to the hydroponic farm, then... okay, it did. I need to remove one grain from that eventually. That should do. Well, no, it won't do, but... I need to rewire this completely, redo all the junctions. We have enough food, I should be able to do it now. Okay. The hydroponic farm is completely reset. It's at 0 out of 3. Okay. I don't know how junction memory will work if I have if I have something connected to just one output. Okay, but I need this system to be on the cycle where it is first recirculating, I think. Okay, that's the cycle I want right there. Okay, now. So that means if I connect something up to this food warehouse, next cycle, it should pop back in. Next cycle, it should pop back in. Next cycle, it should pop to the factory. I kind of actually want it to be not on that cycle. So let's let it pop over twice and then grab it out. Because that means it'll be first cycle to the factory. 1. And 2. Okay, so next cycle it should go to the factory. Now, I want this junction to be on, so next cycle okay, let me think. I want this junction to be outputting to the bottom, I think. I kind of want to test to see if it's possible to reset a junction. Okay, so the next cycle it's going to output to the bottom. I'm going to test if I can reset a junction by just feeding something through it. Okay, I need a second random ass building I can hook to. There we go, factory. You'll do. Okay. Okay, so it output to the bottom. That means next cycle it'll output to the top. How am I going to test this properly, though? Because what I want to know is if I output to it with no connections, no exits, if that'll reset it. And make it forget which connection it was supposed to output to next. Okay, so this time it should output to the top if I hook it up. If I let it tick once and twice, then it should be back on the bottom again. But obviously, since there's no connectors connected, it just does that. We'll let it tick once more. This isn't a good test. It's not gonna work. Well, we'll see. If it outputs out the bottom again, then we... I think it tried to output out the top again. I don't like that at all. The implications of that are... Yeah, it did output out the top again. The implications of that are not good. That means it's got some really hardcore memory going on. Okay. Well, Yeah, that's not great at all. I think that we're just going to have to let this run until it outputs the right direction. Wait. That's wrong. That's right. All right, anyway. Let's leave the worker out of the hydroponic farm for now. We've got enough food for one day. So what we want to do is we want to let the water pump cycle until we get a water on the hydroponic farm. And then we want to wait till we get a water on the factory. No. We want to wait till there's a water on the hydroponic farm. Then we want to wait to 20 seconds on the water pump. And then we put the worker in the hydroponic farm. And then everything should work smoothly on cycle. I think. If we get water on the hydroponic farm, then 30 seconds after that point, the next water will go to the factory. 10 seconds after that point, okay, so what we actually want to do is at 20 seconds, or 10 seconds left on the water pump, we want to put the worker in the hydroponic farm. If the water ends up on the hydroponic farm, then we're good. We just remove the water and let it go. Yeah, I know. So at about 9 point something seconds left, you put a worker in. And then we should have waited a little bit longer. Yeah, I screwed that up. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it on cycle. We've had 2 in the factory. I think the next one will go to... No. I didn't see what path that water took. That path went through this junction, and the next one will end up on the factory again. I think the next one will end up on the factory. We'll see in a second. If it ends up on the hydroponic farm... It did, okay. We need to put the worker in right now. No, we don't. We need to wait 10 seconds and then put the worker in. In other words, when that grain pops, we need to put the worker in. And this is actually supposed to make another cycle, so we screwed it up already. It's off cycle already because I got the cycling wrong. Damn it. All that figuring and I still got the damn thing wrong. Oh well. I'll just keep tweaking it until we get it working. Okay. The next one should output to here. Okay. That's fine. Oh, this is grain, of course. I really need to just put water on ahead of time. Rain, rain, and a drought. Also, I don't know why I'm bothering so hard trying to get it onto a good cycle, because even if I do get it on a good cycle, anything like a fire or a drought is going to wreck us. Okay, that's fine. Droughts hit the city. Farmland stopped functioning. Do we give it 3 water? We need to give it another water on top of that, because, yeah. That's how that works, I guess. Let's give it 2 water, because that way we'll have an extra laying around ready to go. I need to get the smelter running again. Get some of this mess cleaned up. Okay, that wind turbine needs to go over there, so I remember it's not connected to anything. That water... Actually, let's add a grain to it instead of removing it. Okay, that should start cycling. Okay, that's actually good. That was fine. That should return. Let's get this rain processing. Let's remove the workers from the oil. We've got all we need from that for now. Let's get this factory over here. Hook it to this wind turbine. Okay. Grab a worker. Get him in the factory. Okay, we've got a water waiting for when the hydroponic farm runs out. That's what we should have, actually. So that's good. We've got an extra grain here, which means we need to add an extra water, because the water pump is slightly out of cycle. Hopefully this should get it back on cycle. We need to put a limiter on this, which means I need another container, which means... Do I have one laying around somewhere? Oh, I do have an oil container already, I guess. We can make a limiter out of that. Okay, so this looks like it runs every 30 seconds. Which means we can do the good old 1 for you and 2 for me style limiter. Actually, no. I need 2 every 30 seconds instead of 1 every 30 seconds. Which is going to be problematic. I need to do 2. I need to do it the other way around. I just need to output 2 from the junction and then send 1 back. So every 30 seconds it'll receive 3, 2 of them get sent to the factory, 1 gets sent back. That'll work. Okay, how are you working? You are short of water. Where's the next water pump gonna go? To there. Let's give that an extra water to make sure that's caught up. Four cards too many. Oh no, what will we ever do? Well, 1 can go in that oil container. Let me see. Just gotta sell these 2 extra grain. And then let me think. I kind of want to sell the burner generator because we have enough oil now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're not going to use the burner generator purely because it's so annoying to work with. It takes up all of our tree output, and I don't want that. Okay, we get extra grain. That'll do. It's one way to get it back on cycle. If it outputs to where I don't want it to, keep dropping them on the junction until it outputs where I do want it to. Don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. Okay, we need to buy more card space. So I can worry less about this. Plastic production's going great. What do we need for more containers? It is 2 lumber, metal scrap. Grain water. I might have actually fixed this by moving that 1 water. Okay, plastic, you go in there. Wish I would have thought of that earlier. Just dropping them on the junction fixes it. Okay. That is not... that actually is where that's supposed to go. But this grain was not supposed to go out yet. We've got a good amount of food. Okay, we need to get the smelters back up and running again because we're low on iron. Okay, that actually does belong there. Don't touch unless you're sure it's bad. I should put a buffer between here. To dribble the water out more consistently, but no, actually no, the buffers, we don't want the buffer. Okay. There we go. And then the next one from the grain warehouse should go to here. And the next water should go to there. And then we'll only be a little tiny bit behind. Yep, we'll only be a little tiny bit behind on the water hydroponic farm. Is it finally going to do what it should? We'll see. Okay, the next time this should output to the factory, this should output to the factory. Boom. Boom. Next time it should output to the factory. This should output to the factory. Earthquake. If you screw up my setup, I am going to be pissed with you. Water pump, apartment, gravel, container, junction, factory. Can be repaired with money. That's nice. How much money? 30. Okay, we need more money. What can I sell? I'm going to sell an electric motor because we can make more of those easily enough. Oh, one of the apartments is damaged. Is that everything? I think. I wonder if this isn't just going to automatically go out of sync. Because I think I made a bad assumption when I designed it. No, not a bad assumption. Okay. Well. Ooh. I think the problem is that we're always going to have... Wait, what? Oh, I see what the problem is. That water pump got reset. Which means there was no power to the apartment for a little bit. Okay, well, that's fixed. This is working great. This is working less great. I think the problem here... how do I describe it? So every 30 seconds this produces water. Every 10 seconds this produces grain. But it should, because of this limiter, actually output that grain every 30 seconds. This has grain in its storage. It needs to not have grain in its storage. It's like right now, there should be no grain left in the storage. Not sure why I gained one. The reason why it shouldn't have any grain in the storage because I'll put an extra grain to the factory during the time when water is not being, when the water is going to the farm instead of to the factory. Like right there. Not that water. Or not that grain, but the grain before that grain should have never made it to the factory. Okay, that grain there needs to go in the bin. And that grain there needs to go into the bin as well, I think. And then this grain should hit the factory at about the same time the water from the water pump does. And then I think we'll finally be on cycle. And I'm probably going to be proved incorrect almost immediately. But I have a dream, a beautiful dream of this factory working on cycle, on timing, everything just arriving at the right moment and everything working. No weird issues where all of a sudden we get the wrong kind of food because a grain arrived without a water. You know, you could make a really good automation game based on a system like this with just a few little tweaks to let you have just slightly more control over timing. Not much, just a little tiny bit of control. You don't even need control over timing. What you need is control over the ordering of the outputs. And you need to be able to reset the ordering of the outputs. If it had that feature, you could make the coolest, weird automation game you'd ever imagine. Because also the water pump should have already outputted to the hydroponic farm. Actually, no, wait. The hydroponic farm is going to sit waterless for 2 pump cycles. Because it spends 1 pump cycle refilling. And then it spends 1 pump cycle outputting 3. And then it spends 2 pump cycles sitting while the water pump just keeps the factory going. Yeah, I think we're finally on cycle now. Sounds like a project for me. Well, maybe if I had a lot more free time. But really, this game is so close to an automation game already. So we should end up with, about the time the first one of these escapes, which should happen soon. Should have happened a little bit ago, actually. Okay, there we go. Goblins have entered my city. Oh no. I don't remember anything about how to do military in this. Two cement, an iron bar, and a worker. I do have iron bars around here somewhere. I know I can make cement very quickly. There's an iron bar. You can hang out in the bottom corner there. Let's put an educated worker in there and have a non-educated worker ready to become militarized. Seconds left to make that. $20 to get military soldier. Three ratty ass goblins. The combat in this DLC is not great. Do I have other uneducated workers laying around? Yeah, you. And you. Let's get some more soldiers. We do a little bit of luring. These guys should be enough to take these on. Don't know if I want to have 2 soldiers. We get -3 if they're in the city at the end of the moon, which is not ideal. Because that'd be -9 altogether. Okay, -6. We're pretty close to the end of the moon. Yeah, we're gonna get -6. Financial crisis. Don't care. 2 wind. That'd be nice for wind turbines if we needed them, which we don't right now. Okay. It does look like this is running reasonably well right now. Oh, it's 10:40 almost. I'm happy to see that this is finally running more or less as close to as on cycle as you're ever going to get. I think I just screwed it up a little bit. That delays it by 1 round trip through the junction. But it'll work out because the factory doesn't actually need to run at full speed to keep up with it. So it'll be fine. Anyway, I think we'll continue this tomorrow. I do like the Modern Era DLC. It's very different from the main game. And the focus on automating things and hooking cards together with permanent connections is kind of interesting. Or with connections other than the way the base game. The base game originally had cranes, which you could place between 2 cards, and every X seconds it would grab a thing off one stack and put it on the other. That was... It really didn't work. I mean, it kind of did, but unless the timing was perfect, you would just end up with all your cards piled up on one side or the other, and things didn't work. They did after they made this DLC, or with this DLC, or just before this DLC, or something like that. They did add the road system to the base game as well. So you could kind of do something with junctions and stuff and connect the roads up. So you could automate the base game a bit better. Or a lot better. But anyway. Yeah, I think there is room for an automation game where the whole thing is based around trying to get the timings of stuff arriving together right. And you need to do weird things like build dividers and recirculate items until the time is right to dump it, and all kinds of weird shit like that. Unfortunately, as far as I know, nobody has made such a thing yet. But anyway. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Which means Old School RuneScape Patch Day. Yay! Just so they can absolutely not fix anything I care about. Woo! Actually, you never know. Maybe they will fix something. I'm hoping they fix Ultimate Iron Man cargo holds, but we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen quite yet. They've been dragging their feet on that one as long as they can. But in any case, that won't affect streams because I'm stuck doing other things, and you guys don't want to watch that unless you want to suffer with me, which I suppose you probably could. I just won't let you. So we'll be playing Stacklands tomorrow. Thursday. I've got some ideas. Part of me wants to do Far Cry 2. That's a pretty reasonable idea. Part of me wants to play XCOM Enemy Within. Currently, that part is winning over the part that wants to play Far Cry 2. But we'll see. I suppose XCOM 1 or Newcom 1 is old enough that it could be considered a nostalgia game. So when was it released? 2012. Yeah, we can consider that a nostalgia game. Now, everyone who remembers when that game comes out, you are feeling old now. Anyway. Friday, of course, will be EDF unless somebody can't make it, which I haven't heard anything that would indicate that, so I'm just going to plan on it for now. And then Saturday and Sunday will be Valheim. For tonight, though, is anyone streaming anything on the old follow list? Abby's playing Helldivers. Okay. Well then. Let us raid the CERN. Helldivers looks like the kind of game that I would love, but also I do not have time for a live service game like that. What with Crab and EDF, I don't have time for multiplayer stream games. Not really. Other than relatively short-lived things. Maybe once we finish EDF. I'm not sure what I'll do with myself when we finish EDF. I guess we'll decide what to do when we hit that point, which won't be probably for a few months yet. Maybe we'll be sick of it by then. But anyway. Hopefully I see you all back here tomorrow for more stacking shenaniganry, and I will see you all later. Good night, and goodbye.